Hello, this is Dr. Cindy Schreiber, and today we are working with day 3 for your recovery. That's right, the 30-day sobriety solution. I'm so happy to be here. I love doing this work. This is what really makes me feel good. When I can help somebody to get over a habit, an addiction, a drinking problem, they're all habits, people. Be it biting your nails, to eating too much salt, to overly working, you name it. If you do it in excess, it's a problem. So we're working on day 3 right now of the book, the 30-day solution. And this book is awesome. So I am doing these exercises for you to listen to every single day. And every day there's a solution for you. And when you work the solution, guess what happens? They build upon themselves. And from reading this book to help you, I know that this will work. I see where the steps are taking you into recovery. And today we're going to talk, let's get to the first of it. This is called the pendulum solution. You think of a pendulum, okay, where it bounces back from one side to the other. Embracing your painful past to unleash the pleasure and joy in the present. And the saying is by Lao TZU. I forget how you say that. It's very easy, his name, but I can't pronounce it. Everyone recognizes beauty only because of ugliness. Everyone recognizes virtue only because of sin. And this is the whole attitude of the pendulum, that if you go to one side of the pendulum and do a negative behavior, you will get negative results. And if you do a positive behavior, you will have positive results. So this is the pendulum solution. You can understand your problem with using excess for dope or drinking, and you can see it in the context of its opposite, sobriety. So we're going to show you how to apply this concept in your life to accelerate your ability to make and maintain not only sobriety, but countless other positive changes in your life. And I want to tell you something. You will be clean if you jump into this and do the exercises. This is about participating, not just sitting through a boring lecture. How many times have we all done that? We get through something just to get to the other side of the class or the learning, and we really haven't listened to a thing. So this is for people who really want to quit. It is, your life depends on quitting, and we know that you can do this. And Gerard Butler says, I can't remember drinking. When I stopped, I would look at a beer and think how great it would be. I'd get this pang in my stomach to go out and have some fun. But then I'd remember that I used up that right, that I did a full life's worth of drinking between the ages of 14 and 27. And this man did it, Gerard Butler. He stopped and he thought about the pain of the drinking and the pleasure of not drinking, and he realized right there in his mind that it wasn't worth it to drink. He'd already done it between the ages of 14 and 27. So most problem drinkers can relate to a lack of balance in their life. In fact, you might operate from an all or nothing attitude, but this type of thinking can lead you to a challenge we often see in early sobriety. It's the all or nothing thinking. Now, this is one of the steps where you can slip up early in the program. All of a sudden, you've decided, well, let's just use cigarettes. I'm going to quit smoking. And we know at the beginning of the year, everybody wants to quit smoking and they make the goal to quit. Many people do not reach this goal because after a few days, you fizzle out. You're all energized and you're all ready to do it. But the problem is you don't set little goals. That's right, you have all these big lofty goals, but being in recovery means doing little things a lot. Inevitably, we see two negative outcomes when we set too many goals at first. So your focus on sobriety begins to wane as you have so many goals and so much newness that you want to accomplish that you start feeling overwhelmed when you maybe miss a deadline. And it's one of the most common things that make you feel like a failure. And then you begin right back to ensuring that none of your goals will be accomplished. This is the vicious circle. And we don't want you to go there. We want you to take one step at a time, which is why this is the 30-day solution. Just do what's right in front of your face. That's right. That's a really good thing to remember, is sometimes when you're overwhelmed and don't know what to do, just do yourself a big favor and stay focused on your sobriety. You will have plenty of time to work on other life goals. That's right, and the great things about accomplishing your sobriety goal is the domino effect that occurs afterwards. The first domino is achieving sobriety. It can seem unmovable and insurmountable, but once you learn how to push it over, this domino, the rest of the dominoes just fall into place. And you will be amazed at how this newfound ability to overcome challenges that used to hold you back. Now, the law of duality. Life is a tennis match between polar opposites, says Andre Agassi. Winning and losing, love and hate, open and closed. It helps to recognize the painful fact early. Then recognize the polar opposites within yourself. And if you can't embrace them to reconcile them, at least accept them and move on. The only thing you cannot do is ignore them. That's right, the law of duality. And this is from the tennis champion, Andre Agassi, and he overcame crystal meth addiction. So at the core of the pendulum solution is the law of duality, which states two different feelings, characteristics, or features cannot exist without the other. There is good and evil. This is the planet of opposites. There is hot and cold, right and wrong. And when considering good in the context of evil, the definition of good becomes clear. So what does this have to do with your using drugs? Well, this law helps you to understand sobriety, because sobriety is typically defined only in the context of using and addiction. Without the existence of the drug dependency, you would not be able to understand sobriety. And it's the same thing with thriving in society, in sobriety. You can understand what it means only through its opposite. Everyone has his or her own definition of what the opposite of thriving in society is. For Dave, this was drinking despite knowing what it was taking from him. That's right. His health, his wife, his kids, his career, his passion, his purpose. When you're able to finally cut back or quit completely, you're able to give the gift of knowing what the exact opposite of thriving in sobriety is. You're able to experience and appreciate the highs of sobriety because you have experienced the lows of using. That's right. Your problem with drugs and alcohol is your greatest gift. That's right. I consider my journey in recovery to be one of the greatest gifts of my life, and this is by Brené Brown. She's a psychologist, and I didn't know she struggled with addiction, but there it is. There are so many people we find in life that struggle with this. That's right. Some people are terrified to quit, so they keep using, and then they're terrified of what will happen if they keep using. See, you begin to feel isolated and alone and doubt whether you'll ever be able to stop. That's right, because it's a never-ending battle. But as you work through this 30-day solution, you begin to see and experience a new life without using, one in which you're absolutely happy. You have to complete one solution a day and embrace and apply what you're learning with passion and perseverance. You start to see your daily compulsions dissipate. That's right. This is a one-on-one, people. To get through this, you have to be in it. You have to be in it to win it. And you have to write these things down. This is about getting to know yourself intensely. That's right. You're like a machine, a well-oiled machine, and you want to run like a Swiss clock. You want your life to be successful in the areas of your health, which will happen when you stop using. You want it to be, you want to be doing well in your relationships, which that's half the battle when you quit using. That's right. And you want to have great health. You want to have good mind control. You want to have linear thinking. And all this can happen when you stop. Now, these are all the power of perspective. And this is what you truly appreciate and embrace in your new life. That's right. Now, what we're going to do in this exercise, in this 3-part exercise, is we are going to give you the tools. You put the pleasure principle to work for yourself. That's right. If you want to thrive in sobriety, you have to make sure you link enough pleasure to staying sober, and you link enough pain to drinking. That's right. In these first 3 days, our primary focus has been doing exactly that. You remember yesterday, the first action step was to write down all of the negativities. That's right, from drinking. And then you were to future pace and write down how you would feel after the new you. Now, this is what you're going to do today again. You're going to go over what you did yesterday so you can break through. That's right. Now, these are your action steps for today. You want to really tag on the before you in your brain. Really, really clear. That's the you, not simply the stuff you wrote down, but just get into it. Go into your journal and experience the feelings created in this powerful link between drinking and pain. And I want you to fill it with all your 5 senses. What does it feel like when you continue drinking? What are the sounds like, the taste like? What does it look like and smell like? And feel free to add any additional insights into this list. How do you feel the next day? How do you feel an hour later? And really write this out and go into the negative feelings that you feel. Stay with this exercise. And then you're going to link the new you journal exercise in. Once again, now these are the positive feelings. Okay? See, we need to give you a contrast like on the pendulum between pain and pleasure. And we're starting to build more pleasure from not drinking and more pain from drinking or using drugs. So this is what we're doing. And when you write down in your journal your pleasure, the before you, the new you, the pleasure, the before you, the pain, and then you write down in your journal your quit drinking strategy. Now this is a very important step too. Very important. This is the step where people get messed up. They don't have a plan. And I want you to write a detailed plan to stay off of drugs. And it has to be in detail. Possibly not going to a certain neighborhood. That's a good way to stay off of drugs. Throwing away phone numbers of people that were your connections. That's another good way to stay off of the drugs. Taking care of your diet, making sure you drink enough water, making sure you're getting enough rest. All of these things help to keep you, it's a strategy. And they find in studies that when you have a strategy, they did a study on people who'd had a surgery on their knees, okay? And the people that followed a strategy, the doctor said, write down a strategy for how much you're going to exercise and how you're going to deal with this and how you're going to cope with different situations. And the people that wrote down their plan were much more successful. They were walking faster and they were a lot more successful with this surgery than the people that just played it by ear. So being clean is a plan and it has to be implemented. There are so many steps to it. But I want you for today, day 3, I want you to do these 3 steps. I want you to review, get in your journal and review the before you. This is why we have to do step 2 first before step 3. Review the before you in your journal. Get into it and feel it as if it's real. And then do the new you. Okay? Remember the simple strategy. It's just to relate more pleasure with staying clean and more pain with using. That's right. Now, make sure that you can visit the companion website. We have one online, okay? And it's solutions for day 3. You can review this over, or you can just listen to me again. I'm going to put something on right now for you, and this is the guy that I was talking about yesterday. Let's see if I can get this up and give you a little bit of him. This is Neville Goddard, and I had him yesterday, and then I couldn't get to him. But I'm getting him right now for you because I want you to hear from him just a few words of how to change your thinking and how to change your life. That's right.
how to speak to yourself in a way that will completely transform your world in just 3 days. Not in 3 months, not in 3 years, but in 3 days. For you see, the power of your inner conversation is absolute. And it is the only true creative power in the universe. Now, when I tell you to talk to yourself, I am not speaking of the idle chatter that most engage in throughout their day. I speak of that inner conversation that is deliberate, conscious, and aligned with your desired state. For your inner conversation is your consciousness externalized, and your consciousness is God. Consider the words of Scripture. In the beginning was the Word. These words are not speaking of some external deity's utterance. They speak of your inner word, your inner conversation. For you are the operant power, and your inner conversation is the word that creates all things. Many of you come to me asking, Neville, how long must I wait to see my desires manifest? And I tell you now, give yourself 3 days of proper inner conversation, and you will see your world begin to transform. For 3 is the number of completion in Scripture. And when you maintain the proper inner conversation for 3 days, you set in motion forces beyond your current understanding. Let me share with you exactly how to conduct this inner conversation. First, you must understand that your inner conversation must be from the end. You do not speak of what you want to be true. You speak as though what you desire is already true. This is the great secret that most of the world has missed. When you wake in the morning of your first day, your inner conversation must be from the state of your wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, your inner conversation must be that of a wealthy person. If you desire health, your inner conversation must be that of a healthy person. If you desire love, your inner conversation must be that of someone who is deeply loved. But, and this is crucial, your inner conversation must feel natural. It must not be strained or forced. For feeling is the secret, and your inner conversation must be accompanied by the feeling of naturalness. Let me give you a perfect example from Scripture. When David spoke to Goliath, his inner conversation was not, I hope I can win, or I will try my best. His inner conversation was from the state of victory already achieved. This is why he could say with complete conviction, this day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand. Now, for these 3 days, you must guard your inner conversation as though your life depends upon it, because it does. Every time you catch yourself engaging in inner conversation that contradicts your desired state, you must immediately revise it. This is not a suggestion. This is a command if you wish to see your world transform. Consider this: every outer conversation you have is first an inner conversation. Every relationship you have is first an inner conversation. Every circumstance in your life is first an inner conversation. Therefore, by changing your inner conversation for just 3 days, you literally...
And this is Neville. I'm going to cut him off right now for time's sake, but you can get him online. He is a wonderful person, and he is from, I think, the 30s. We'll have to research him more, but he's a very powerful speaker. And what he's saying is how we speak to ourselves. We want to speak to ourselves as if we are already sober. We want to speak to ourselves every time you catch yourself saying something negative, which is common. We will repeat commercials sometimes. Our mind chatters. It's called monkey mind. But we really want to stay focused, especially on this 30-day program, of the way we're talking to ourselves. That's part of the reason why we used before, because our negative chatter was so much from our past. So I know that this man is telling the truth, because I've been using these methods for 2 days now, and I'm catching myself when I go into negativity to stop and say, wait a minute, act as if, and it's already there. So in your inner talks, speak to yourself that you do believe you're sober, and you are sober, and you are going to continue being sober. That's right. Speak to yourself. Start getting that inner stability in there by speaking to yourself as if you've already stopped drinking and it's been a year. And how do you feel? Do this, folks. And I know that you're going to do wonderful in this program. So these are the steps for day 3. I know you can. Yes, you can. You can do this. You can do all things through the higher power who strengthens you. Good luck to you today, and I will do session 4 tomorrow. I think each section, you can just take a day or two to do it, and you'll be fine. And we'll get through these 30 days. In the end of 30 days, I know you will have created the most awesome life you could ever want. I love you. I believe in you. I'll see you in your dreams.